स्वभावचिन्मयानन्दम् कृपापूर्णं जगत्पतिं हरिषड्वर्गजेतारं नित्यानन्दगुरुं भजे स्वभावचिन्मयानन्द.
I think of God, universe as being blissful and nurturing, but the God described in the Satyanarayana Puja is revengeful and punishes people. Why? This is a wonderful question. Understand, our masters created many wonderful techniques for you to connect with the ultimate from the level where you are staying. If you are in the level of Swadhisthana, you're okay? If you are in the level of Swadhisthana, means fear, revenge, you will not be able to connect with the God who is all powerful, all compassionate and overflowing ecstasy. You will not be able to connect. You will feel, how can that be? Person who is in that level can easily connect to something. Do this, you will be rewarded. Don't do that. If you do, you will be punished. More or less like a manual. Person who is based on Swadhisthana chakra, the very low level conscious, very low conscious beings, for them only manuals will work. You need to present divine in that level. That is why the stories like Satyanarayana Puja and so many other things have been created. Like a war, or the demons and gods fighting, somebody interfering and helping. All these things are described for a person who is in a low level consciousness to feel connected. Understand, when some of these great things are created as a technique for your conscious evolution, they may not be fact, but they are truth. You need to understand these two words. Fact is what you understand, what you can observe through in the 3 dimension of length, breadth, depth. Truth is what you can't understand in the dimension of length, breadth, depth, which is beyond in the space and time. These Satyanarayana Puja are the description of God with revenge and all those things are created even for a very common person who cannot think beyond his moods and swings, his moods and attitudes. He can understand only things which are presented in his moods, his attitude. For that kind of people, this kind of descriptions and stories have been created. For example, if all buffaloes gather and have a meeting, decide to meditate on a god, naturally how they will visualize? A huge golden buffalo with a crown. That's what they can visualize. That is what they can understand. If you tell them, no, God is with 4 hands, a human being, they will ask, why? Why should we worship human God? We have our own brand. We have our own God. So, our masters say, it's okay, all right. Let them start with that understanding. Then slowly lead them, saying that it is not only just a gold color buffalo, it has got a strong aura, light around it. Then the third understanding, it is not only having light around it, it is light completely. Then slowly, it is beyond the form and formless, pure light. Raising people from their awareness, step by step to the higher level awareness. One of the great misunderstanding, even misunderstanding is a humble, innocent word, great misinterpretation and abusal done to our Vedic tradition is that saying, We are worshipping too many gods, too many things with idiotic misunderstanding. With idiotic misunderstanding. Understand? People ask me, here, especially here we face the question, why so many gods? I ask them, why so many cars? So many cars because constantly the visionaries of your society visualized more and more better and better luxury and comforts. That is why so many different cars. The visionaries of the societies based on the external world, outer world, they constantly visualized more and more luxury and comfort. So that is why this kind of car, that kind of car, this variety, that variety, with this facility, with that facility, what all? So many things. But in the East, our masters, our visionaries who created our society is called rishis. Only they are called as rishis. They constantly visualized a different paths for inner bliss. They were constantly visualizing, doing research and development in the inner science, in the space of inner development and in the enlightenment science. That is why, just like here, how these guys created different vahanas, so many vehicles. Our masters created same way so many different vehicles for the inner achievement. That is why in Buddhism, the different paths for enlightenment is called as different vehicles. Mahayana, Hinayana, all these things are different vehicles. Because our masters have done so much of research and development in the inner science, they created so many deities. They are all like different vehicles to take you to the different space of consciousness, different level of consciousness. Understand? When you don't understand and if you are ignorant, then at least you should accept ignorance. I saw so many so-called foolish scholars writing books about Hinduism and Vedic tradition. Neither they lived nor had any understanding or even little courtesy to learn things. This question, like why Satyanarayana Puja, God is described with so much of vengeance. Understand? It is not that God is carrying vengeance. No. These are different methods and techniques made available to different level people by our great masters. Let me try to give you an idea of how our masters worked. See, whenever a person starts getting interested in spirituality or religion or inner space or bhakti or anything, the moment he starts getting interested in something beyond the outer world, first thing he will be attracted to too many deities. Whatever gods and goddesses are there, he will start praying. He will start praying. He will just try to work with everybody. Try to strike a deal. You take care of 10%, you take care of 10%, you take care of 10%. Okay, perfectly all right. A kind of a exploring attitude. Have a child. If you see a child, it may have 100 toys, but it will not give even one to somebody else. You may say, you have 100. Why don't you just give 2 for your brother? No. He will pick up that only and put it in the mouth. And not only that, if you try to take other things, he will just go and lie down on that. Till that time he will be sitting and playing, but the moment you say, I am taking 2 toys for your brother, he will just lie down on that and roll and cry. Roll on that and cry. Exploring attitude. Perfectly all right. Nothing wrong. When you start exploring, it will be like you will work with all deities, whatever deity you see. The more hands, you will feel more power, more energy. Let me tell you, actually, I had one very serious doubt. Why these deities are having so many hands and so many different energies, so many different weapons. One great sannyasi, a very great Swami, his name was Shantananda. He was living in South India, in Tamil Nadu. I had the fortune to have his darshan and see him. Very pious, humble, a complete sadhu, a full sadhu, a matured, ripe sadhu. He had in his temple, he built a temple. Actually, from him only I learned putting these huge size murtis. He had a temple with a 18-handed Devi. I asked him, Swamiji, why these different hands, so many hands, the deities are described? Then he laughed and said, by the time we started our mission and started all the work happening, he laughed and told me, now I saw your souvenir. He saw our introduction booklet and he said, the book says you built 100 ashrams and 1,000 centers. Now, because we have evidence and all these things, okay. After your lifetime, if somebody sees, within this short time you established so many ashrams, so many centers, wrote so many books, all these things, will they be able to believe you had only 2 hands? They can't. A normal logical man will start thinking, maybe he was working with too many hands. I told him, no Swamiji, so many of my disciples help me. They all give their hands to me and they are assisting. He says, that is the exact thing. They all have become now your hand. Same way, they all achieved, these deities have done so much in very short period of time. So, we have to make a statement about their power. It is like a statement about their power. We say 18 hand means they express so much energy when they are in the body. They have done so much of work. That is why so many hands and different weapons are described. These are metaphysical description of the power which expressed through them. That is the exact definition. That is the exact understanding we need to have. It's like they are making a statement, so much of work has been done through their energy. So naturally we will have the initial level, so many different. Actually, after hearing to his explanation, I was shocked. Yes, true. You cannot imagine, Shankara did so much within 32 years. You will be surprised. The whole public life of Vivekananda is only 9 years. 1893, he appeared in Chicago in public, and 1902, he passed away. That's all. Only 9 years of public life. Nobody can imagine. All his books to read and complete, you need one lifetime. To read and understand whatever he wrote and spoke in 9 years, you need one lifetime. You can't believe. Now naturally we have to think, Vivekananda must have had 10 hands. That is the metaphysical description. It's a metaphysical understanding. In the initial level you will have connection to so many deities. That is, we can say, first standard. Then after some time, slowly the understanding will become matured and you will start thinking, maybe the same energy only is blessing in so many forms. It will become a devotion towards one deity, one energy. It can be called as second standard. And you will be worshipping one deity. Then slowly, instead of pouring water, putting flower, See, pouring water, putting flower, showing fire, everything is actually his. What am I going to do? By bringing and putting it on him. It's like if the flower is on the tree, it is on the God, on the divine. Ramana Maharshi beautifully used to say, hey, why are you bringing the flower from Virat Purusha and putting it on small Purusha? The Murti is a small Purusha, means the divine. And flower is, if the flower is on the tree, on the plant, it is on the Virat Purusha, cosmic God. So you will slowly understand, everything is his. We are pouring water on the person from who said, oh, all the Ganga is coming, all the water is coming out. And we are putting flowers on the person who said is Himalayas itself. We are showing fire to the person who is the embodiment of fire itself. What fun we are doing. So you will start understanding. Maybe I don't have to do all these physical things. I can just mentally start repeating his name and remembering his form. It will slowly become japa. Understand? From many deity worship, it will become one deity worship. From one deity worship, it will become slowly japa, repetition of name. Maybe this can be called as third standard. Then, after some time, I think even repeating name is not required. If I just can hold his wonderful, blissful form in my inner space, that is enough. Meditation. From japa, you move to the dhyana, meditation. This can be called fourth standard. Then, the deep devotion, when it arrives, you don't even have to sit and meditate, just very remembrance puts you in ecstasy. It's called Leela Dhyana. Ramakrishna says, first teaching of Ramakrishna, if you remember your God or Guru and your eyes become watery, this is the last Janma for you. Very powerful word. I can say essence of Ramakrishna's philosophy is that one line. That's all. Nothing more needs to be added. Just remembrance puts you in ecstasy. It is called Leela Dhyana. This may be fifth standard. First standard is many deity worship. Second is one deity worship. Third is from worship to japa, repetition of name. Fourth is just meditation, means visualization of that form. Fifth, just remembrance, not even visualization. Smaranat Ananda. Just by smarana, Ananda. Just by remembrance, ecstasy. Leela Dhyana. They call this as a Leela Dhyana. Just a simple remembrance is ecstasy. Then, the next level is the deep devotion towards that one form, maybe Shiva or Rama or Krishna. That joy, that feeling connection, understand, is so powerful, it will naturally, automatically bring a living master into your life. Only if you are in that state of Leela Dhyana, you will have that click with a living master. Till then, you can never have a click with a living master. Understand? Having direct connection, the right understanding of living master will happen only a person who has come up to the level of fifth standard. When you see a living master, suddenly the click happens. Oh God, what I was fantasizing and visualizing and enjoying by remembrance is walking on the ground with the human body. What I read in the Puranas, Bhagavata and scriptures and enjoying by remembering is walking, is living in the human body on the planet Earth. That click, when it happens, your bhakti will become Guru Bhakti. Understand? Daiva Bhakti will become Guru Bhakti. That connection, suddenly you will see exactly the same divine, same God, same energy walking in the planet Earth in front of you in the human body. That is why when a living master happens, if you are already devoted to Shiva, you will see Shiva in him. If you are devoted to Krishna, you will see Krishna in him. If you are devoted to Devi, you will see Devi in him. If you are devoted to any other master who left the body, you will see that same master in him. He is a fulfillment of all your visualizations and expectations and beyond. That is why you will see all those dimensions in him. All those dimensions expressing in the human body. Deva Bhakti will become Guru Bhakti. This is the 6th standard. Blessed are those who experience the state of Deva Bhakti transforming into Guru Bhakti. The devotion to a God transforming into the devotion to the Master. Understand? It can happen only a person whose being is matured and who has become egoless. Having devotion towards a God, you don't have to give up your ego, because he is not directly going to be present in the plane where you are staying. Understand? You will never be affected by the in-laws who are staying in India. I have seen in India so much of problem between in-laws and daughter-in-laws and mother-in-laws. In this country it does not happen, because they come rarely, and even if they come, they babysit. So the problem between the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law is lot less here, because they are in different plane altogether. That is the same thing. Having relationship with the gods, because they are in different plane. But in India, so much problem. Why? They all live in same house. They have to share same house, same wealth, and same person. Daughter-in-law wants husband, mother-in-law wants son, same person. Then problem starts. You need to be egoless to be in India in a joint family. To live with a mother-in-law in India, you have to be egoless, because both are living in same plane. Same way, Deva Bhakti does not need ahankara tyaga, ego sacrifice. Many times it is ego fulfilling. But Guru Bhakti needs ego sacrifice, because he has landed in the same plane as you are. He is doing the drama in the same language which you understand. Here, competition comes. Guru also wants your ego and you also want your ego. Both of them wants the same thing. Now the problem starts. It is just like mother wants son and wife wants husband. Same person, poor guy, what he will do? What to do? He can't do anything. And drama starts. Same way, with a Guru Bhakti, you also want your ego and Master also wants your ego. Drama starts. That is why many people stop with Deva Bhakti. And it is more or less safe, non-dangerous, non-controversial and non-interfering. You can talk for yourself and you can talk for God, both, no problem. You can stand in front of photo, Venkateshwara, I want 1 crore and I will do this, I will do that. Oh, you say you will give it, okay, all right. You can talk this side and that side, no problem. You can manage both the games safely. Even if you tell some other news, some other thing is coming from your deep navel, no, this is the message from him. You say, no, I think that my negativity. Relax. Hey, keep quiet. Think always positive. Think positively. God will never say that. Only my negativity is telling all these things. You can always manage the game. It is under your control. That is why all the intellectual organizations stop with Deva Bhakti. Understand? An intellectual always stops with Deva Bhakti. A strong egoistic man cannot have Guru Bhakti. That is why you will see so many temples in this country. Why so less ashrams? 800 temples have been built, spending $10 billion in this country. Strong egoistic doctors. They can build temples. They cannot bend in front of a living master. Very difficult. Very difficult. See, having temple is more or less like you having the control of God. That is what is going on in many temples I have seen. They decide how many abhishekam, when, how many puja God will have is decided by them. I was shocked sometime when I see these temples here. Because if these doctors have some urgent patients, or if they don't have any other doctor to cover, the puja will be done quickly. Venkateshwara has to bath only, he has to have half bath. He has to have half archana. And the director will be sitting there and telling the priest, finish quickly. And mantra speed will increase. But with a master, you cannot do this. You cannot do this. That's where the drama starts. That's where the drama starts. The other day, some of our devotees are telling, they want to start a temple in a new place. And there are local one or two doctors, they are saying, no, we should be independent. Means what? Be independent in hospital, not in temple. Temple is the place where you need to be completely surrendering. Be independent in hospital, that is perfect place. You have to be independent and intelligent. You are certified for it. But in the temple, be completely surrendering. In the temple, independent word is wrong. Let us be egoistic. That's the right word. Because you can't tell that word boldly, they have to utter the word, let us be independent. Understand? In even the temples run by enlightened masters, installed by enlightened masters, whether some doctor has to work or not, the puja cannot be reduced. It will go on. You cannot tell our priest, hey, finish quickly. No. You cannot show your eyes to our priest, hey, finish quickly, I have to go here, I have to go there. No. The manual is prepared by Ramanuja. Only that will be done. Not by the manual done by the doctor. The manual is done by these guys. No. Man who pays will not decide the tune. Man who pays the piper will not decide the tune with enlightened beings. But when it is just murtis, the man who pays the piper will decide the tune. Now what to do? That is why people always stop with this line, Daiva Bhakti, over. Very strong, courageous, intelligent individuals only take the step, the quantum jump from Daiva Bhakti to Guru Bhakti. Next is the ultimate drama. When the Guru Bhakti happens, Guru starts the next job. He turns the whole bhakti and attention which is given to him just towards you as a Atma Bhakti. He says, relax from my form, unclutch from my form and go into your very self. He turns the bhakti into jnana. Guru Bhakti becomes Atma Bhakti. That is the ultimate drama, the last step. Maybe we can say the 8th standard, the last class. That is another one problem. Some people will be stuck even in this place, in this part. They will be stuck with the Guru Bhakti. No, forget about enlightenment. I want only to be around you. That is where the master's work becomes very strong. But he will never allow that. One wonderful incident, like this one person, too much caught in the form of the Ramana Maharshi, goes to Bhagavan and says, Bhagavan, please give me vibhuti from your hand. Every day, morning he will take vibhuti, the holy ash from Ramana Maharshi, only then he will do his activities. First few days Bhagavan gave. After that he understood that this fellow has become addicted to the form. And it is time to teach lesson. And the story says, very beautiful story. Only a living master can do this drama. This guy goes and says, Bhagavan, please give me vibhuti. He says, take it. It is there. No, I want from your hand. Bhagavan just looks into his eyes and says, this hand and that hand is same. Take it. Story says, the disciple had such a strong shock, shaking. He just sat and fell into meditation and became enlightened. Understand, it's not story, it's happened. It's such a strong shock. Maybe the word looks very simple for you. This hand and that hand is same. Take it. It is not an ordinary blessing. It is not an ordinary teaching. The right time, the right matured disciple, he had only one immaturity of being caught in the form. He just turned the whole Guru Bhakti into Atma Bhakti. When the whole Guru Bhakti turns into Atma Bhakti, you become enlightened. Understand? You start with many devata, many deity worship, first standard. Then it becomes worship of one deity, second standard. Then it becomes, instead of worship, japa, repetition of the name, third standard. Then it becomes just meditating, visualizing, form, fourth standard. Then it becomes Leela Dhyana, Smaranat, just Smarana, remembrance, not even meditation. That is the fifth standard. Then slowly from there, that Deva Bhakti becomes Guru Bhakti. That is the sixth standard. And that Guru Bhakti directly turned by the master towards you as Atma Bhakti, that is seventh standard. Achieving enlightenment is eighth standard. Understand? Our masters have created enough techniques for all these different standard people. Do not think the first standard level techniques are foolish because you are in third standard. No. They are created for some particular beings. For some particular beings. Approach all standard, all level techniques with a deep respect. You will see everything in new light. Everything in new light. Whoever does not understand the different standard and abuse any one standard or any one part of our Vedic tradition are responsible for destroying the science of enlightenment in the planet Earth. They will have Brahma Hadya Dosha, means killing the knowledge of Brahmanyana. Never ever disrespect. Any standard, you do not know which one helps whom. We do not know. Our masters created techniques for all standard human beings, all standard people. Let everybody be helped from their standard. And it's like a step by step, such wonderful way. They are led from one by one, and finally led to the ultimate experience, enlightenment itself. So, it is like different vehicles. The society is based on the outer world, created different levels of comforts, vehicles, things in the outer world. The society is based on inner world. Rishis created different techniques for enlightenment, different deities, murtis, techniques for enlightenment. That's all is the basic truth.